This guide will walk you through the basics of creating automation sequences using the powerful drag-and-drop automation builder in Digably.
Let's get started.
First, let's go to the Automation section in the Digably dashboard by clicking Automations in the left side menu. In the Automation section, you'll see another menu at the top of your screen that includes Flows, Reporting, and Settings. By clicking Flows, you'll be able to see and manage all of the automation flows that you have created. If you click Reporting, you will be able to see the activity that has taken place in each of your automation flows. And, by clicking Settings, you can add or edit a default email and phone number that you want to use in your automation flows. Now let's go back to Flows and click the Create Flow button to create a new automation flow. The first step in creating a new automation is to add a trigger. The trigger is the action or event that makes the automation start. This could be a form submission, phone call, purchase, or virtually any other activity that can take place in Digably. To add a trigger, simply click Add New Workflow Trigger and configure the settings in the right side panel. After adding your trigger, you will need to add steps. Steps are the actions that you want to happen automatically when the automation flow is triggered. You can find the Steps menu on the left. You can use the search bar to search for the step you want to add. Or, you can use the drop-down menus to browse the various step options. Let's dive into some of these. First, we'll look at the CRM steps. You can expand the CRM menu by clicking the drop-down arrow on the right side of the menu. Here's what it looks like expanded. You can add these steps to your automation flow if you want to automatically create a user.
Order a product.
Add an example contact. Look up a contact. Assign a score to a contact. Create a pipeline item. Wait for a task or opportunity. Contact an owner. Or cancel a subscription. Next, let's look at the data services steps. We won't go over all of these, but you can see here that you can pass data to a third-party app through a Zapier webhook, add or remove a tag to or from a contact, trigger a Facebook conversion, among other actions. Now the logic steps. Redirect visitors, add a wait time, and sorting contacts based on conditions are just a few of the steps you can add from the logic menu. Then there's the messaging steps. These allow you to send emails and text or multimedia messages. Finally, the phone steps. And you can see here, a number of powerful step options in the phone steps menu. Okay, now let's create a full automation flow by dragging and dropping some of the steps we just covered into the visual automation grid. Here we've created an example with 5 steps. We have a step where we send an email. A step where we are going to use a Zapier webhook to pass data to a third-party app. A wait for amount of time step where we're basically adding a pause in the automation flow for set amount of time. And another send email step followed by the step where we deactivate the contact from the automation flow. Take note here that there is no wait step between the first 2 steps. This means they will take place at roughly the same time, seconds apart, at most. Keep in mind that any number of steps in your automation flow that aren't separated by a wait step will happen at roughly the same time. If at any time you wish to reconfigure any of the steps in your automation flow, you can always double-click on the step, and a setting panel will open on the right side of your screen. Let's cover one more thing before wrapping up this brief automations overview. Connecting the steps. Notice the blue lines between each of the steps. This means they are connected. But this doesn't happen automatically. To connect the steps, you simply click the connector point at the bottom of one step and drag it to the connector point at the top of the next step. When you've done this for all of the steps, it should look something like this. To activate your new automation flow, remember to click Save and then Publish. This guide gave you an overview of how automations work in Digably, and how you can create your own automation flows customized however you like. To learn more about individual step options and how they can be used to make various actions happen automatically, refer to the automation section of the Digably help docs.